It's at times like this I wish that I was taller. Can you hear me at the back, everybody? Never mind. Good morning, Mayor and Mayoress, Ms Lilly, members of the Merchant Taylors Company, fellow governors, distinguished guests, old girls, mummies, daddies, grandmas, grandpas, and most of all, girls. I'm delighted to open today's celebration of your successes by making some opening remarks on behalf of the Board of Governors. Today we all celebrate and we all share in celebrating your successes, because that is what we do so well at Merchant Taylors Girls' School and the other schools, of course. We share in our successes, but just as importantly, when things don't succeed the way we want them to, we look after each other. And we are a real community. At prize giving every year, the Merchant Taylors Company send two representatives. One is the clerk to the master of the company, Nick Harris, and one is the master of the company, and I'm delighted to welcome both of them here today. Peter McGill, who is the current master of the company, is an old boy, and he was also a governor until he had to step down when he became the master. And Nick Harris is the clerk to the master, and I can tell you girls that Nick is retiring today. No, not today, he's retiring, but I wanted to catch him out, you see, because he's done something horrible to me today. I thought that he was coming to both this speech day and the boys' school speech day. But no, he's decided he's not going to come to the boys' school speech day. So Nick, how am I going to give you your present? Because we've bought him a present, but we will make sure that you get the present on behalf of the girls and the boys' school. And I know you will join with me in wishing Nick a long and happy retirement. And I know you will join with me in thanking Peter very much for his attendance. Girls, it won't surprise you, Mrs. Robinson has asked me to be brief. So I shall concentrate on a couple of areas, because you're thinking, who are these governors? What do they do? Well, girls, I can tell you we're doing something really important right now. We're in the process of finding a new head. And we as governors want to get that right, not just for you as pupils now and as you move up the school, but for those who are coming in from our junior schools and from further afield, and for the staff, and we take that responsibility very seriously. So on the subject of heads, I'm delighted to tell you that my old head, Mrs. Davis, is here today as my honoured guest, my special guest. I was always slightly terrified of her, girls, but now that I've got to know her better, she's really very nice. And when we looked at the competencies that we wanted for a new head, I said, well, we'll just have Mrs. Davis. And if she'd applied, we'd have probably given her the job. But girls, what do we want for you? Everyone knows that Merchant Taylors is the best school in the Northwest. Today's event shows that. But what do we want in finding a new head to lead at the best school? I found a letter that Mrs. Davis wrote to my mother, girls, back in 1978. That seems like a century ago to you. She finished the letter by saying, "Thank you for allowing us to share in her education. Mummies and daddies, grandparents, families, you place your complete trust in us when you allow us to share with and provide an education to your girls. And I want you to know that we will never let you down." So girls, we will find you someone who will provide you with the highest level and quality and standard of teaching and learning, so that you become lovers of lifelong learning. Girls, we will find someone who will develop your potential and bring out the very best in you. Not everybody here will get a prize. I certainly never got a prize at Speech Day, as it was called when I was there. But you can all go for your personal best. And girls, we will find someone who will tell you that you can reach for the sky and you can and will believe in yourself, and you will do whatever you want to do. And girls, we will find you someone who will prepare you for the considerable rigours of life, so that when you leave your school and you go on to university or college or apprenticeships or into work, you do so not with a trembling lower lip and fear, but you do so with a real spring in your step and an ease of confidence, knowing that you will find your way and that you will be the one who helps others who are slightly nervous when they start their journey in life after merchant tailors. But most of all, we will find someone who you like and relate to and can talk to, and who will ensure your own personal well-being in this complex world. So girls, no pressure there. And the interviews are next week, so keep your fingers crossed for us. So that's our key task. Alongside that, girls, we're reviewing our estate and our IT. What does that mean for you and for the people coming into our schools? It means we're looking at all the school's estate and where we can make our accommodation better than it is. Some of it is, to be honest, looking a little tired around the edges. And we want to be seen, and we will be seen as merchant tailors leading the way and being at the cutting edge of technology. And this will benefit your learning experiences at school. And we're very grateful that Professor Cartwright from Liverpool University is on our Board of Governors. But girls, we can't do this on our own. We need your help. We need your family's help. We need to continue to raise money, and we're going to have some wonderful celebrations in 2020. But girls, we want to know from you and your families what you want the money spent on. We want you to be a part of that process, and we want you to help us in raising that money. We're not yet sure in detail how we're going to do that, and we will come back to you on this. And we're working with Lisa Connor, our new fundraising manager, to develop our celebrations of fundraising for 2020. Girls, it's got to the point where Mrs. Robinson will be looking at me, looking at her watch and wondering how much longer I'm going to speak for. Well, Mrs. Robinson, I make no apology for speaking a little longer, because today is a very special prize-giving day. I'm not going to upset you, Mrs. Robinson, but the governors and I know that the girls and the staff will want to recognise this and thank you for your amazing contribution to our school. We know you've had a distinguished career from Bolton to Manchester High School for Girls to Howells, and then, of course, to the very best, merchant tailors, as well as, getting the odd occasional ISI inspector qualification along the way. But I'm not interested in Bolton, Manchester High School for Girls, Howells. I'm interested in merchant tailors, and I'm interested in what the staff think of Mrs. Robinson, because I know. So I contacted our two deputy heads, Miss Tyndall and Dr. Bush, and asked them to share some anecdotes with me. This is where, girls, Mrs. Robinson will be feeling very nervous. Hello, Beverley. Marie and I spent some time earlier together. We both agree that every member of staff will have their own particular anecdotes about Louise. She'll shout at me for not saying Mrs. Robinson. So we are offering some pointers as to those traits that will be recognised by all her staff. She is famed for her love of bar charts and graphs. No major staff meeting will happen without some displayed, and she often will be heard to say, "Ooh, look at my beautiful graph." Well, I can tell you, girls, that's absolutely true, because we had a meeting yesterday, a finance meeting, and Mrs. Robinson was waxing lyrical about graphs. Dr. Bush and Miss Tyndall go on to say, if we were Mr. Robinson, we would be worrying. Mrs. Robinson often refers to the lists she leaves with her husband of things to be done. Open brackets. She also has these for her senior staff, close brackets. But he may be receiving more of them once she steps down from this role. Finally, something I've learned about you which I didn't know, Mrs. Robinson is not particularly fond of animals. So we think a joke about whether there will be a new four-legged member of the family arriving in April would go down quite well. So whatever you do, don't buy her a dog as a leaving present. So I know that I speak for all the staff when I say what a fantastic job Mrs. Robinson has done. I could have contacted some of the girls and asked you about Mrs. Robinson and what you thought and what your anecdotes were, but I didn't need to, because something landed in my inbox from an old girl. And this email epitomises everything we do at Merchant Taylors Girls' School and everything we do so very well. So, Mrs. Robinson, this email says it all and pays fantastic tribute to you as headmistress of our school. Girls, I'd like you to listen to this email because this will be you in a few years' time. And it will show just how fantastic our education here is. Dear Mrs. Robinson, she's going to blush. I'm going to love it. Let's take a photograph of her blushing. I hope you are well and that you are enjoying your last year at Merchants, as I heard you will be retiring next year. You may not remember me, but I went to your school from 2007 to 2014. You know who's written this. I just wanted to write you a quick email saying how much I appreciated you letting me come to your school. I am not from a wealthy family and I had little to offer, but I am thankful that you saw the potential in me and let me come to your wonderful school. I made some friends for life whom I meet up with regularly, and we go on holiday every year since leaving. I've also made some great friends at uni and also met my boyfriend here as well. She doesn't elucidate. I genuinely believe that I would not have got into university without coming to the girls' school. I graduated this summer with a 2-1 in BSc Molecular Biology and am now starting at Bristol University doing an MSc in Stem Cells and Regeneration. I hope to then go on to have a PhD, and the dream job would be research in a lovely lab. I do not mean to talk so much about myself, but I just wanted to show that I'm doing pretty well, typical Merchant Taylor's modesty. And I do not think I would be here without the help and support you provided me with when I joined your school. I have gained a lot of confidence, and I'm looking forward to the future. I hope you enjoy your last year, and to help the girls, that's you, become bright, confident young women, as you have always done. Tell them to hold their heads up high like you once did with me. I hope this email gets to you well. Thank you very much and have an exciting retirement. So, Mrs. Robinson, that email says it all. It encapsulates what we provide at Merchant Taylors. It encapsulates everything that we do. And I know that none of this would have been achieved without you. So it's time now for me to finally shut up and sit down. You'll be very grateful. I've made sure I haven't gone over my 10 minutes. But before I do, I'd like to ask our head girl to come forward and just give a tiny token of our massive appreciation for all you do and for all you'll continue to do. And girls, teachers, staff, mummies and daddies, grandparents, everybody, can we just show our appreciation for Mrs. Robinson in the time on this position? Thank you, girls. I told her to bring her tissues, and I'm glad I did. Thank you very much for listening to me, girls. We'll now move on with the rest of the service. Thank you.